ready to go.
Well,
so as Albo arrived, I know Penny Wong, the Foreign Affairs Minister, is talking to the Labor faithful at the moment. How far away from is Albo ready to have his speech?
I don't see anything at the moment.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they tend to keep that stuff pretty under wraps, don't they?
Mm.
It's sort of one of those last-minute things. What I am surprised about is, like, yes, we knew that there was going to be a lot of support for him in this election, purely because, as I said before, people are still scarred of recent memory from the downfall of ScoMo after the whole COVID fiasco. But there's a lot of anger towards Albo as well, which I thought may have come through a little bit more in terms of like the independents getting up, but we, so far anyway, haven't really seen a whole lot of that. Like, have we got like general, who's got what seats currently?
Yeah, so I can give you 39.3% of the vote has been counted. Labor has 86 seats, which is 13 seats up on what they previously had. Coalition are at 39 seats. The others, so that's your Teal independent candidates, your One Nations,
your Greens.
if the Trumpet of Patriots got up, they are sitting in there as well. The Greens, as Nathan pointed out, Nathan has it up there on the YouTube screen. The Greens had 3 seats and then they disappeared in the count as well. While we're talking about the Trumpet of Patriots, so the Trumpet of Patriots is the Trump Light Party.
Right.
We've been talking about, backed by Clive Palmer.
I didn't see them getting up, honestly. I know that they were trying to ride the coattails of Donald Trump's win, but people in Australia just have disdain for Clive Palmer. Like, it was never going to happen.
Good.
It just wasn't.
I like to think that my coverage of him from over here in America had something to do with it, but
so the story behind Clive Palmer, in a nutshell, was he'd had was it a copper mine? Correct me if I'm wrong. A nickel mine.
Nickel.
It was a nickel mine that he had here, and I don't know all of the details off the top of my head, to be fair with you, but essentially the nickel mine closed, and it was a poor decision on his part, but he didn't pay any of his employees, and Australia has not forgotten this. Literally, during this election campaign, the comments on all of the Trumpet of Patriot stuff was still like, Clive, pay your employees.
Good.
Like, Australia has not forgotten.
Oh, I'm just looking at my settings on Mix. Can somebody... I can do that here. I just might cause an echo in a second, or a loop.
No, that's okay.
I'll do it. I'll muffle it, and that way we might be on in London too.
Oh, go us.
Oh, hello.
Hello, London.
Hello, London. Just very quickly, I just want to have a look at, remember how we were talking about Victoria before, how a lot of Victorians don't like the current state government led by Jacinta Allen, and the Liberal Party were hoping to gain seats from Victoria before. They lost one.
We are.
Did they? They've lost another.
So the Labor won the 25 seats in the state of Victoria. Liberal Party only gained 4. The Independents picked up 3. And the Nationals picked up 3 as well. So the coalition there have got 7 seats. The Independents, I want to scroll in and have a look there, because one of the things that happened in 2022 was the Teals, or the Independents, targeted the Liberal seats like Kooyong, where the Treasurer at the time, Josh Frydenberg, was, and the Teals actually got up in that seat.
That's another nickname for you, Jurgs, was Frido. He was all right. Poor Friday. Frido was a casualty in the ScoMo administration. He didn't necessarily do anything wrong himself, but he was guilty by association and booted out very swiftly.
What was Scaremo? Is that what you called him?
ScoMo.
ScoMo. What did he do that got him fired?
Honestly, what didn't he do?
Yeah,
one of the things that he did is during COVID is he swore himself into multiple ministries, including the treasurer, defense minister. So he was also the prime minister and swore himself in these other ministries in case of an emergency. Which,
I mean, on paper made sense, but the fact that he did it without the knowledge of the sitting ministers really pissed some people off. So there was that. He did this. He had a family holiday whilst the country was burning.
He went to Hawaii.
While the country was burning and people were dying.
So
that was a fun one.
Yeah. We had Senator Ted Cruz from Texas. When he just got like an inch of snow, he took his family to Cancun.
It's funny, earlier on in the show,
Cancun,
before we were starting the show, I was talking to Scott behind the scenes about how I had it up earlier. It was Peter Dutton casting his vote. And just like standing there holding his piece of paper in the ballot for like 2 minutes while people take photos. It reminded me of that Ted Cruz campaign ad in the 2016 election where with him and his family sitting around the table saying grace, and they say it like 7 times.
Yeah.
And it just sort of becomes ridiculous, doesn't it?
Yep.
Mind you, speaking of this, so I looked at this photo earlier today, along when it was posted, along with the photos of Albo and his missus, putting their ballot slips in, and I actually had a giggle because the first thing that I do always with stuff like this is go straight to the comments, right? Because I want to see what the people have to say. It's one of my favorite pastimes, reading comments of weird posts like this. And the very first question, Nathan, if you could find it at all, is like the Albanese version of this photo.
Yep.
Someone made comment that Albo needs to get his eyes checked. And I once you have a look at the photo, you'll understand why. Because I must admit, I had a bit of a laugh. Poor fella. He's aged a bit in the last 3 years. And was looking a little worse for wear today, honestly. But he was trying his best. And when you see the actual photo come up and just have a look at his eyes, he looks a little wok-eyed, honestly. Looks like the poor guy hasn't had a lot of sleep.
Yeah. We got him like that. I just love how people would give our former president, Joe Biden, all kinds of grief for being then 81 years old, who's still riding a bike and just simply looks like he's in his late 70s, early 80s. Then T-Rump comes along and, looks like Jabba the Hutt. Looks like Jabba the Hutt fell in peanut butter.
And Cheetos.
I think the brown, they've gotten away from the orange and that's sad because I like Mango Mussolini, but
it's actually, the orange thing is funny because I remember his first term when he was elected, there was this meme that went everywhere, which was basically, this is not what we meant by orange is the new black, referencing the show.
Yeah, right.
I thought that one was quite
it's also worth bringing up that Donald Trump is now older than Bernie Sanders was when Donald Trump stood up and said that Bernie Sanders is too old to run for president.
Oh yeah, yeah. She when Hillary Clinton was being looked at for her email handling and that whole scandal, he said anybody that's ever been indicted is not eligible to run for president. Dude, you've been indicted and convicted
And yet here we
34
are.
times. All right. Oh, that party,
Oh,
his
okay.
base is such
Here we
a
go.
hypocrite. Oh, yeah, there we go. I wonder if
Is he-
there's...
Oh, we've got a whole video.
What is the feed of that?
For those,
They look so awkward, don't they? When they're just sort of
Yeah.
like, it's like they're scared of the ballot box.
for those listening on the radio, we're watching a video of Anthony Albanese and his girlfriend having really
fiance now.
fiance. Sorry, get a really awkward photo putting their vote in the ballot box.
One of the photos that was taken, when you see the stills of it, the poor fella, he looks a little tired.
And how much younger is she?
That's a good question. I think she's in her
Same.
40s, early 40s.
Jodie, her name is Jodie Hayden, Prime Minister's girlfriend.
Fiance, get it right.
Fiance, sorry.
He asked her to marry him about halfway through his term.
On Valentine's Day. She's 46 years old.
Oh, there you go.
Anthony Albanese is 62.
They really do look awkward.
They do, don't they? Like, you got 2 bits of paper, my guy. Let's get it sorted. Like, this is a 2-minute job.
Is he, what is that, 16 years? Yeah, I'm known for younger too, so I'll just sit here and look sleepy.
Hey Nathan, are you able to get up to their have you got Peter Dutton's speech or Anthony Albanese's speech there?
I'll see if I can pull it up.
Too easy.
Well, after a
I wish we could have
five-week
found one
election
of
campaign,
the stills from that photo. Because his eyes honestly look really, really funny.
So just very quickly, 41.9% of the vote is now counted, with 16 seats still in doubt. I should actually go and check that. Oh, before we do that, you want to...
Oh.
Do we have volume on that, mate?
Oh, he looks... I don't know if he's angry or not. Mind you, he always looks a bit angry, doesn't he?
Just won an election. He should be jumping off the stage.
I know, but he's always got that, like, furrowed brow sort of look going on.
Oh, yes.
I've mocked his appearance twice tonight. I feel kind of bad.
Do we have any sound?
Is Dutton a bald guy?
We should do.
No,
Yes.
that's not the bald guy.
Peter Dutton is the bald guy.
That's Albo. That's who's
That's
just
Albo.
won his second term.
Yeah, but
He looks pretty crabby for someone that's just won a second term.
But Dutton is bald.
Dutton is bald, yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking through a video. I'm trying to find a live feed myself, and this is all pre-recorded.
Oh, is he
hang on,
holding
I
up a
got-
friggin' Medicare card again? Oh my god, I cannot deal with this man, I swear.
Hang on, I'll get you some video.
Or Liberal blue, it
There we
is
go.
green and gold. It is a declaration of our national values in our national colours. Medicare belongs to all Australians, and together we will make it stronger for all Australians.
Yeah, see, I'm okay with that too.
Friends, I stand here tonight as the proud leader of an extraordinary team. I stood on the hallowed turf of the G this morning, doing live crosses, making that point. I want to thank all of my colleagues, beginning with my friend, our incredible Deputy Prime Minister, Richard Marles. No one could hope for a better deputy, and I thank him so much.
Does he sound a little sloshed?
Penny Wong and
Yeah.
her deputy.
That's just how he talks, though. Have you not listened to a speech before? That's why, you know those ads from you, or not ads from you, those shows that you can get on YouTube that Pauline Hanson puts out, the political little shows. What are
Have
they
you
called?
been paying attention?
Oh, have you-
no,
no,
sorry.
no.
Please explain.
Please
Pauline
explain.
Hanson,
Ah,
please
yes.
explain.
Because he talks like this all the time. That's just the way that he talks.
Our economic team led by Jim Chalmers and Katie Gallagher.
See, our economic team led by Jim Chalmers. Like, that's just the way he
Our
speaks.
campaign spokesperson.
I can see it. It's like his dentures won't quite stay in.
And we've got a bit of a shared party tonight, and Berkey's here, the member for Watson.
Oh, Berkey's here, the member
Oh,
for
good
Watson.
old Berkey.
Oh, yes. That is the Home Affairs Minister that...
Yes. What is happening?
Which when
Gotta
you
love
look
you
at it
Aussies and your
across the
Speedos.
benches, it's representative of the Australian people. I acknowledge
That's
all
how
of our
ask their
fantastic
vote.
Labor
So
candidates
Yergs are showing us a photo of the ABC website with...
put up their hand,
Yes.
gave up their time,
A bunch of
for our
people in
cause
swimsuits.
and their community. And,
Oh, they're not just swimsuits.
and if you excuse me for singling out one of them, who ran for a third time in Dixon, Ailey Frantz.
Yergs, why are we looking at tog butts?
So many.
There we go.
While they're chanting, I was looking for a feed myself.
So many
and
of whom
this one that came
will
up
be
was a
joining
bunch of
us
people
as
voting
caucus
while at a
members
pool or
in
beach or something.
Parliament.
Like both guys are in a Speedo.
I want to
Rock on.
thank the people of Grayndler, most of whom are here tonight.
That'll be me in 20 years.
I apologize to everybody. I am still
I've gotta
here,
say
but
something, it was very
my
special
camera has
on
gone
the way
flat.
here. There was obviously, I don't know whether there was a
Oh, okay.
drone above us or what have you. My security team said, maybe they're just out on the street. People don't just hang out on New Canterbury Road. And from
Has he
Lilyfield,
thanked his missus yet?
Leichhardt, all the way here.
Scotty, by the time we're done with this show, I think I've caught a hint.
I'm
Of
sorry, but I won't be
Thank the
moving
missus.
back for a little while.
of the what? You're really
People
quiet.
of
I can't.
You've
hear
gone
you.
really quiet again, actually.
Incredible honour
How about now?
in choosing me as their representative.
I mean, that's better, but you're still quiet.
Okay.
Can you turn your mic up?
Yeah, I'm actually going to do it on another.
I've lived in
One
this
second.
community in the inner west my whole life, and it's an incredible privilege to serve a community that you love, and I do love it.
How about now?
To the Labor Party's
That's good.
A little bit better.
soul, our rank and file members, and the mighty trade union movement of Australia.
Oh, the Mighty Trade Movement Union of Australia.
The Labor Party will always stand up for jobs and people's wages and conditions. Everywhere I have been through this,
Everywhere.
your energy,
I know what's happened.
enthusiasm, your
Damn it.
dedication to the cause has lifted me up. You inspire all of us in your service of working people, and we thank you. To our
Everywhere.
magnificent campaign director, National Secretary Paul Erickson.
It's hard not to make fun of the guy.
But that was just an Elmer Fudd kind of thing.
This is just him. This is just the way he speaks.
Paul has run an outstanding campaign. Paul and I did tell people May was the right time. And he managed to become a dad during the campaign.
Is he talking about the other guy now?
No, he's talking about one of his
He
buddies.
was supported
Okay.
by an absolutely brilliant team. And all of those dedicated people own a part of this victory. And I thank you. To my personal staff, led by Tim Gartrell.
Well, he's getting to personal staff. Maybe he'll get to his missus yet.
The loyalty, the passion, the commitment that you showed. You have a tough job that you perform with grace, with humour, with joy, and just a passion for changing the country for the better. Thank you for what you do.
He really is just saying nothing.
To my son,
Yeah.
Nathan.
Oh, g'day.
There we go.
He's grown into a fine young man who I am just so proud of. Thank you.
G'day.
Did you guys see that? The son went for the handshake, dad went for the hug, and that was
Bring in the bro hug.
And to my fiance, Jodie.
Hey!
Oh, there you
It's
go.
taken him 3 years and 2 elections, but he finally thanked her. Oh, look, everyone's chanting for her now.
Probably wasn't expecting for this to be in your life half a dozen years ago.
Half a dozen years ago.
For your support,
So
your friendship, and your love.
Jodie came
You make me
about.
so happy.
She's fairly new on the scene. They've not been together for a very long time. Hence the reason that
You
they've
have
not
my
long
heart,
been
I love
engaged.
you, and I
But
look forward
he
to
was
spending our
Anthony
lives
Albanese was
together.
married for 20-something years, and I for whatever reason their marriage had broken down, and he had started dating Jodie
My fellow
sort of
Australians,
not long before he
Australians have
became at the
chosen
time the
the
leader of the
Labor
opposition.
Party as their government.
So she's sort of only
Our
known
government
him
will choose
in
the Australian way
fairly significant
because we are proud
roles
of
of
who we are.
power, which
But he
take
was-
from that what you will.
He was already in Parliament.
I have an interesting fact about Anthony Albanese's ex-wife. She was the deputy mayor
We
of
do
Sydney.
not seek our
Really?
inspiration overseas.
That's interesting.
Carmel was her name.
We find it right here. in
She
our
was
values
the deputy mayor?
and in our people.
Yeah, his
She
ex-wife.
worked for Sydney Council.
Ourselves to your service. We renew
That is interesting.
the great responsibility and the opportunity of government, and with pride and purpose, optimism and determination, with faith in the fair go and faith in each other, we return to the work of building Australia's future. Thank you all.
Do we have a copy there of Peter Dutton in his concession speech at all?
I'll see if I can pull something up.
I know that you'd stepped out for a quick second there, but did you see it took him 2 elections in 3 years, but he finally thanked
Thank
her.
Jodie for her hard work. That's
Finally
great.
thanks Jodie.
Where are we?
Ooh.
So I'm just looking at some more results here. So the ALP have got 86 seats. So they need 76 to win. The LMP's on 37 seats. And there's a mixture in the others category there. Just got to go through and double check what they were.
I sincerely hope that with another 3-year term, he can actually follow through on some of the things that he had originally set out to do.
Do you have the volume up there? Sorry, Nathan. Thanks, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, tonight's not the night that we wanted for the Liberal Party or for our coalition or indeed for our country. But we've worked hard every day over the course of the last 3 years to do our best for our amazing country. One of the great honours of being the leader of this party is that we have met people from every side, every corner, the length and breadth of this country. And there are many amazing stories. People who have sacrificed, people who are doing it hard at the moment. And I've always wanted in public life for the best for our country and the best for every Australian. The highlight of my career has been as the Defence Minister, and over the course of this campaign, on Anzac Day, we caught up with young veterans in Townsville at the RSL, and it reminded me of how lucky we are as a country. And I want to acknowledge all of those men and women in uniform who keep us safe as a country.
It's hard not to love what he's saying, honestly. Like, he's lost his job, he's lost his election, and he's still very humble.
Tonight, and I accept full responsibility for that.
Well, I mean, it's a bad move to be a sore loser.
Oh, but we've seen it, haven't we? We've seen sore loser concession speeches, and they're not pretty.
All the very best. And I said to the Prime Minister that his mum would be incredibly proud of his achievement tonight, and he should be very proud of what he's achieved. Thank you. I also had the pleasure of speaking with Ali France, and Ali and I have been combatants for a number of elections now, but she was successful in Dixon tonight, and she will do a good job as a local member. She lost her son Henry, which is a tragic circumstance that no parent should ever go through. And equally, I said to Ali that her son Henry would be incredibly proud of her tonight, and she'll do a good job as a local member for Dixon, and I wish her all the very best. Now, it's been a great honour to be leader of this amazing party for the last 3 years. And I want to firstly acknowledge David Littleproud, who has been a great partner in crime. He's led the National Party with great distinction. He's had the strength of character to stand up on issues which are important to us, and we've worked incredibly well together. He's done a great job, and he will do into the future. I want to say thank you very much to Susan Lee as my deputy, and also Angus Taylor as a shadow treasurer, and other senior members who have contributed to the success of the last couple of years.
Seems like he's just thanking everybody. I mean, I guess that's what the speech was, but
like, what else can you do though, really? Like, that's essentially what a concession speech is congratulating the other guy, which he's done, and thanking his team, which he's doing, and going on about his life. Like, you have to hand it to the bloke. Like, he'd be extremely disappointed right now, and he's handling it very, very well. Like, one of the better ones that we've seen in recent years of concession speeches in this country. They get a little butthurt.
Who are just amazing, led by Alex Dalgleish, Jody, Martine, Jackie, Selma, all of the EO staff, my advance team, the AFP, who have done an amazing job for our family. And I want to say thank you very much. I have the best media team in the country, led by Nicole Chant and Adrian Barrett and their team. They've done an amazing job, and I'm so grateful to them.
Okay. It's pretty much just...
So, to give you kind of a bit of a summary on how the events turned out. So, on a national, so if we look at Australia and we look at all of the states, the two-party preferred, Labor was 55.9, the Coalition 44.1. So there was actually a 3.8% swing towards the ALP. The states that they were trying to get across the line was, of course, Victoria. Victoria ended up being 57.3% towards Labor, 42.7% to the Coalition. The other battleground, they were hoping to claim the two seats because on a state level, the Northern Territory government is they're called the Country Party in the Northern Territory, which is another division of the Liberal Party. 54% to Labor, 45% to the coalition. So there was a 1.3 swing towards the Liberal National Party. Obviously not enough to swing voters. Queensland, on the other hand, they have a Liberal National state government. There's a 3.7% swing towards the ALP, but the coalition stayed strong at 50.3% versus Labor's 47.9%.
So I think it's safe to say that Queensland's really turned blue, haven't they?
Yes.
From being such stronger Labor territory for such a long time, like a state that is as important as Queensland, because let's make no mistake, it's one of the biggest and most talked about and most resourced state of all of them. To turn blue so heavily in the same year is quite the feat, honestly, on the Liberal National side of things. Yeah. Really, like it's been Labor heartland for such a long time.
And Labor has a very strong hold on Queensland. They've had the state government changed once when Campbell Newman was there, and then went straight back to Labor under Palaszczuk. The other state, which is interesting, if we look at our home state of WA, again, they had a 0.8% swing to the ALP, so 55% versus 44.2%. I find that very, very interesting because WA is a massive Labor state, especially on a state level, where the coalition over in WA is not actually a coalition. The Liberal Party and the National Party are separate, and they have gone through some terrible, terrible, terrible times in the last few years.
They have, yeah. It's the only state in Australia where the Libs and the Nats are not one and the same. That are two separate parties.
They're not in coalitions.
Yeah.
So, and I was sorry.
And I was going to bring up before too with Queensland. I think the reason why we saw it swing further towards the Liberals this time was that Andrew Dutton's thought of Peter Dutton. Sorry,
Peter Dutton.
It's been a long night. Peter Dutton's sort of like has your life really improved over the last 3 years? I think sort of hit home for a lot more people. And just that lesser of two evilism thing that I think we saw a lot of in the United States, in especially the last two elections, where it's like, it's not like vote for me because I'm gonna do the right thing. It's vote for me because I'm against the people you hate.
Yeah, and that was how Albo won his first election, wasn't it? It was, I'm not that guy, vote for me. Because everyone, in the end, everyone hated him, hated ScoMo. So initially, Albo got in simply by saying, I'm not him, like I'm clearly the better choice. And that's, what got him the first election. So now I think there's a lot of yes, there's the lesser of two evils. There's the devil mentality that seems to be coming out a lot. In terms of Queensland specifically, I think the reason that they've started to swing more blue in recent times is they had both state and federal were red for such a long time. And when the state government changed, and he's sort of, in the short time that he's had in state government, has done a pretty decent job. I think people are finally sort of like, okay.
Well, people in Queensland have had, and we can say this because we're ex-Queenslanders, right? People in Queensland have had enough of the broken promises, the never-ending, we'll do this, we'll do that, and nothing happened. I was going to say, is Jurg still there?
I think he may have had.
I am. Yep. I'm here.
Yes. People have had enough in Queensland of the crime, the crime wave. The state of the national highway, things like that, and they want to see a change, and they want to, move away from this bad name that they have. Hence why the state turned blue. Just Tasmania, real quickly. So Tasmania's got a Liberal national government as well. But there was an 8% swing towards the Labor Party in that state. And I'm not even sure if Jackie, I have to double check, but Jackie Lambie, see if she got up down in Tasmania as well. I'm just looking at kind of like a broad sort of thing here at the moment. See, even South Australia's had a bit of bad run with the Liberals as well, because they're David Spears, the ex-Liberal leader in South Australia, was in the news for all the wrong reasons. You know, he was charged with drug possession and using drugs while he was the opposition leader. So again, that all it just doesn't add to the Liberals'
favoritism.
Yeah, that's right. So,
well, there it is. You know, an election wrapped up for another term. I honestly, I know I've said it a couple of times, but I do sincerely hope that he can, now that he's got another 3 years, can crack on with some of those original election promises.
you know who? I'm just looking here really quickly. Nathan, you know who Bob Katter is, right?
I believe so, yes.
Up in North Queensland, Central Queensland. He returns again for he's got his seat for the Katters Australia Party.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Which is
good old exciting. Bob Katter. The beetroot.
Actually, we should. I'll have a look if Barnaby Joyce, because Barnaby Joyce there was a threat to his seat as well. Not the first time he's had a threat to his seat, but I'd be interested to see, because he's been in the news a lot. You know, not in the last few weeks, but definitely has been in the news. So
there was a whole thing.
You may have to fill Jurgs in on Barnaby Joyce.
Oh, so Barnaby Joyce, a couple of years ago, essentially what happened was
he was the deputy prime minister at the time.
So he was the deputy prime minister at the time, and what transpired essentially was he had cheated on his missus, slept with a staffer, got her pregnant, and it was this whole thing, and like his whole life essentially unraveled in front of everybody. He gained the term the beetrooter because he's got this like ironically sort of red face. And
because that's attractive.
And you know the pardon?
Because that's attractive.
Yeah. So he gained the title the beetrooter, not only because he had his red face, but because of, you know, he was doing that other thing.
It's a very Paul Ryan situation where it's like he could have got there and then just completely messed it up.
But yeah, he ended up, you know, he'd thrown out of his house.
Sorry, not Paul Ryan, Jack Ryan, sorry.
His marriage broke down, his family broke down, and now, as far as I'm aware, he's still living with the staffer that he'd gotten pregnant, and they've had another kid since then. So, you know,
okay,
love is love. Yeah. Congratulations to the guy, and he's still got his seat. So, I mean, it's funny because like you'd think something like this, Australia as a country would be like, nah, you're out, because people have been kicked out of their seats for less. But honestly, we're all just giggling at the guy like, bro, just need to calm down.
People have been kicked out for less. We talk about that here all the time. And so much of what was a huge scandal in past administrations for us is another day at the White House.
Yeah.
There's nothing sexy about it.
I mean, I think for us, the whole thing over the couple of months while it was transpiring sort of in front of our eyes, is anyone that understands anything about Australia is that we love to take the piss, right? out of everyone anything possible. And this guy was just so comically unwinding that we just couldn't help but make jokes out of the poor guy's situation.
But the thing is, too, he made it like he went from politician to human being. You know what I mean? Like that.
I'll give him that.
Happens in real life. You know, husbands cheat on wives. They go and have other children. They get married. He also got videoed in the main street of Canberra, coming home drunk and tripped over a concrete garden bed.
Yes, he did. He was filmed sloshed off his face, 2 a.m, stumbling home. I'm like, this guy, honestly.
You know, the other politician I was thinking of before who just like ruined their career with one bad choice. Yergs, do you remember Howard Dean?
He's got a real thinking face on.
Oh, you guys still there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything just went silent for a minute, so I lost. Especially, I had the feed in from my phone. I checked the My Network, but there was a pause in my headphones for a second, right as Nathan started talking.
Yeah, I said, Yergs, do you remember Howard Dean?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
The infamous clip that ruined his political career.
Well,
yeah, I don't get what's so wrong with this. And I've talked about this.
You have already got the picture here. I was about to say, I'm sure there's some disappointed people here. You know what? You know something? If you had told us 1 year ago that we were going to come in third in Iowa, we would have given anything for that. And you know something? Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
And then that just got played just absolutely to death. Just that, yeah.
That one. And Gary Hart was another Democrat that had his photo taken with, was she Jennifer Flowers? A woman that he was allegedly having an affair with. And just she was just sitting on his lap, like at a picnic or something.
Why was she sitting on his lap?
It was like a picnic or staffer type of thing, and I think she was a staffer. And there was the accusations by the press that they were having an affair. And
I mean, look, honestly, picnic or not, I wouldn't sit on my boss's lap.
Unless it wasn't the first time.
There you go.
Correct.
And that's what did him in.
There's definitely been some funny things around that have gotten people kicked out of politics. It's like when, oh, goodness me. Oh, I cannot think of her name off the top of my head. Nathan Scott, please help me. Our first female prime minister, bless her.
Julia Gillard.
Thank you, Julia Gillard. That was stuck on the tip of my tongue. Julia Gillard. Yes, she was honestly treated like crap by the other guys in Parliament, and
Tony Abbott especially. Yeah.
Tony Abbott especially. She was really, really butchered. But outside of that, the jokes, because she was a redhead and a woman, the jokes about like KFC chicken thighs and all of these things that just flew relentlessly about this woman, you gotta hand it to her that she handled it with so much grace. And then even now, today, especially with the climate around like equality and women's rights and all this sort of thing, her speech about I will not be lectured about misogyny by this man, like that speech that she did has now become iconic. But at the time,
Donna Rice.
she was sort of just like, all right, sit down.
Donna Rice was the staffer, not Jennifer Flowers. Jennifer Flowers was on the long list of Clinton exes.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. What are you looking for?
No, I am just looking up some results here. So I'm just trying to work out. The Liberals have lost a lot of seats.
Yeah, they've not had a good night.
It has not been a good night. So the list just keeps updating as we keep going.
That's the point of a live list.
No, like it just the onslaught just keeps piling up and piling up. So like there's a few seats here. Ford in Queensland, Deakin in Victoria, Leichhardt in Queensland. So Leichhardt is up in Cairns. Now, the guy that is the Member of Parliament for Leichhardt, I cannot remember his name, but when they voted Malcolm Turnbull out during the Turnbull years, he wrote at the bottom because Malcolm Turnbull wanted to do another leadership ballot, but he had to get X amount of signatures first. And before that, he had voted out or removed from the Liberal leader, Brendan Nelson. And the member for Leichhardt, I just can't remember his name for the life of me, wrote on the bottom of that petition, this is for Brendan, to get rid of him out of office. So basically in saying, good things come to those who don't do the right thing, which I'm surprised that's gone from LNP. Bennelong. So Bennelong used to be John Howard's seat many, many years ago. He lost it in 2007 when Kevin Rudd came in. It's gone from the Liberals back to Labor. Petrie in Queensland as well. That was a pickup from the Libs to Labor. Dixon, obviously Peter Dutton's seat. Bonner is it Bonner or Boner?
I feel like it's supposed to be Bonner, but Queensland. It's going to be Boner.
So that has also flipped. I'm just trying to think of I sent through a list before we went through. So there's a couple there on the list. These are all the seats that we were watching to see whether they went towards Labor or towards the Liberals. And all these seats seem to have flipped straight to Labor with some massive swings as well. Like that Liberal seat, Bennelong, John Howard's old seat, that's a 10% swing towards the Labor Party.
Jeez.
And there's still seats in doubt as well. Brisbane, the seat of Brisbane, which is in Brisbane CBD,
clearly
was held by the Greens, surprisingly. That was the effect.
That doesn't surprise me at all, actually, because Brisbane's an oddly green area.
Well, that was the Victorian effect. So when Melbourne got locked down in COVID and people relocated to Queensland, they also brought their
political views with
political compass with them. Also, the new seat in Bullwinkle, which is in Western Australia, it is right next to our electorate of Burt, actually. It's a new electorate, so the parliament went from 151 seats to 150 seats. They got rid of one seat in Victoria, I believe, and one seat in New South Wales, and replaced it with a seat in Western Australia called Bullwinkle. That was a three-way competition between the ALP, the Liberals, and the Nationals. So the Nationals in WA don't field candidates in every seat. They obviously go with the regionals, but Bullwinkle, because it's a mix of metro and regional, they had a candidate, and Mia Davies was the ex-opposition leader before Shane Lowe in the state parliament, and it's marked here as a Labor held seat, but the Liberals are actually ahead in Bullwinkle there, which is a surprise. Sorry, it's just been updated. 20% of the votes counted. It's a 50-50 with a 3.3% swing towards the Liberals as well. There's a couple here too, just really quickly. Richmond in New South Wales is a Labor seat, which is actually in the process of turning green. So 52.5% of the vote is for the Green Party. So there's an 11% swing from the Labor Party to the Greens.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Not sure what effect that has. The other one, again, Fowler, was the Dai Li effect. So she took the seat from Labor last election, and she's ahead as well in Fowler. Griffith, Kevin Rudd's old seat, which is another Brisbane seat.
Oh, Kevin 07.
That went from Labor to Greens. The Green guy who got up in Parliament and mentioned about rent. So that the fact that this guy.
I actually like that guy.
I have another odd question, and I'm not sure if it's the same in the States, Jurgs, and Nathan, you might have a bit of insight into this. But why is it that most members of the Greens Party, they always have hyphenated names? I've never understood that.
I'll have to look into that. Let me look.
That is a weird coincidence.
Might be the same reason serial killers all have hyphenated names.
Hey, Ted Bundy didn't.
I'm going to take it down, but in the top one corner of your screen is the photo I was telling you about with Gary Hart and Donna Rice. That photo ended his career.
Let's have a quick look here. Let's see if I can bring that up here on the big screen.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry.
We have, here we go. Oh, yes.
Oh, they've so slept together.
They have definitely.
Yeah.
Their faces are touching. They're both smiling. Their arms wrapped around. They have 100% slept together.
Done it.
Absolutely. No one is that comfortable with their boss unless they've seen them naked.
Boom.
It's like a buck drop moment.
Boom.
Oh, wow.
My children, by the way.
We're also live. There's a subscription service that my show is live on. Well, apparently it's whenever it's the whole feed, because I've noticed that Sportcat, who follows me during the week, has been on this app as well, and we are now on DNR Studios. So you're on a subscription service right now.
Oh, wow.
Look at us
Yeah.
go.
Look at us go.
Giddy up.
And we're talking about people banging their employees.
Oh yeah. You believe me, this is a mild conversation compared to what the owners of the network talk about on a daily.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Wow.
Yeah, they 100% slept together.
Yeah. And what you're seeing on your screen now is called the Biz Growth Collective. That's another sponsor of mine that, or affiliate really, that is the next LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
Definitely.
I never quite got on board with LinkedIn. Hey, like, I mean, I get the concept of it, but I just can't get on board with the whole, like, it's like Facebook, but for business, but you have to pay to see who wants to talk to you.
Yeah, to an extent, but no, yes and no. You have to, this is a subscription service as well, but this one's worth it, especially if you're in business, like independent, like those of you to monetize Dare Media, this is an excellent spot for you. Hi, baby. I'm getting
Oh, look.
Look at that.
my 45-pound puppy wants to go outside and pee. Oh, kisses. Good morning to you too, baby girl. How about with your brother? Oh, he's behind us. Let's go pee. Want to go pee? Let's go pee. Get down. Oh, yeah. Lunge off my balls. All right, let her outside, and then I will be right back.
Oh, you poor thing.
I'll be right back.
That's okay. We also may take a very, very, very quick break. We'll be back very shortly.
This is Radio Live. We're just taking a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. Right here on Radio Live. Australia's conversation starts here.
Let's have a quick look at the Australian federal election. Now that Labor has won the election, here are some of the key promises the party has made before they declared victory. So 9 out of 10 GP visits to be bulk billed, a rebate on household and small business power bills of up to $150, first home buyers access to 5% mortgage deposits, cutting a further 20% off all student loans, and delivering some tax cuts for Australians on July 1st, 2026.
Back from commercial.
And you're back here. We're covering the Australian election. Jurgs is here. The other two have just ducked out for a very, very quick break. Toilet break too, I think.
I can take that one screen down on my end, right?
Yes.
That is the disadvantage when you're having on so many different platforms and you've filled the screen with all of them. You stop sharing on the wrong platform. And now my video feed just has me on it. And meanwhile, there we go. Let's try to put that back up.
There we go. Oh, wow. Nathan's come back too. G'day, mate.
G'day.
Katie and I thought we'd do it in turns. She can watch the panel here while I go and have a break.
So that's the ending results of today?
Yes, that is the ending results.
Oh. So 52% of the vote has been counted. There's still 14 seats in doubt. So the Australian Labor Party have won 86 seats currently. The Liberal National, 40 seats. Others, that includes the Teals, Central Alliance in South Australia. They have also won 10 seats with together. Interesting here on the news, it just saw it on the screen there. David Pocock is a famous Wallabies rugby player turned Australian senator. There's been a huge support for him to return to the Senate this time around, which is interesting because he doesn't normally align with any political party. he normally he aligns himself with the Greens rather than like the Labor Party or the National Party or the Libs as well. So I'm surprised actually that his support has surged. I didn't think that David Pocock was that popular.
You said he was a former footballer?
Former Wallaby, yeah.
I mean, I think that might have a lot to do with it. In that, I think it's easier to forget the allegiance of somebody like that than it is a career politician.
Yeah, it seems to be the Australian thing as well. Or footballers seem to go for politics straight after they finish their football career. Mel Meninga, very famous Queensland origin player. He was also the coach of Queensland and the coach of Australia in rugby league. He went for politics once, and I believe it was the shortest campaign in history. He got up to do his press release, and then towards the end of it, he goes, "No, this is not for me. I'm too tired." Nathan, you should try and find that video of Mel Meninga.
I'm back, everybody.
While you're there, he's searching for it now. Mel Meninga.
Mel Meninga, the shortest political career ever.
That's the one. Yep. Press play.
Too many Australian famous people have drifted into politics. I don't know why.
Maybe because not everyone makes a smooth transition. Former Australian rugby league star Mel Meninga tried a career in Canberra. For a moment, anyway.
I was just a person out there making sure that I was, I'm buggered. I'm sorry.
And that right there was Mel Meninga's political career.
Wow.
I remember.
Yep.
He literally just like, nah.
Hey, just real quickly too, remember we were talking at the start of the show about the Teal independents that were backed by Climate 200, yet another millionaire. They all, just some news come in now. So Allegra Spencer, I can't remember which seat she was in. I'm pretty sure it was Wentworth. That was Malcolm Turnbull's old seat. And the seat of Curtin in WA they were talking about, that was Julie Bishop's old seat. Zali Steggall, who won the seat of Warringah from Tony Abbott back in 2019. They all kept their seats, all of those Teal independents.
They must be doing a decent job.
Well, I'm surprised because one of the Teal candidates absolutely refused to do any interviews with any of the right media at all. They were happy to do ABC in Australia, but she refused to go on like Sky News or do any interviews, do any debates, anything like that. So I'm kind of surprised that they got up. But again, if people aren't convinced by what the Liberals were offering, it's, again, no surprise that they've gone with the Teals.
But I mean, we sort of expected that, didn't we? Is that people would try and give Labor a little bit longer of a go, purely because they're still so traumatized by sort of the end of the COVID era and the last Liberal time in Parliament. Mix that with everyone being so fed up with the sort of duopoly, I suppose, like the two-party preferred sort of situation, that a lot of people, especially younger people, are now moving to the bug you both. We're going elsewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm also seeing here that for the Curtin seat, the Liberal candidate Tom White has only just announced that he will not be conceding, that there are many votes still to be counted and that the path to victory may be difficult, but that we won't be calling this election anytime soon.
Yeah, so one of the complexities with Australia, and they potentially you would have this in the States as well with multiple time zones, is like it's only 9:02 here in Western Australia. The votes will actually keep, even though they've stopped on the East Coast potentially, some of these have stopped. On the West Coast, they'll actually keep going for a little bit longer. To see these swings, but
And then
again,
I believe they start again at about 6 a.m. Correct.
everything will start up again at 6 o'clock in the morning for the east, and over west. Yeah, it'll be 8 o'clock in the eastern states, 6 o'clock over here. What was that? It was Curtin, wasn't it?
Yes, Curtin.
Yeah. Let me just look up, because you'll be able to tell straight away by the swing.
But I mean, this is not the first time a seat in WA has been this hotly contested. Like, we just had a state election here, and there was a few seats that literally came down to the wire. Like, it was a couple of hundred votes different, and neither party was prepared to concede, even when news forums had called it. Neither party had conceded, neither party had accepted the win, and it just kept going right down to the final votes before it was finally decided.
So with Curtin, there's a 46.2% of the voters counted. Tom White from the Liberal Party is at 45%, and the Independent there, Kate Cheney, is on 54.1 with the swing at 2.8. I mean, let's call it for what it is, right? It potentially is, grasping at straws there, because based on that, unless the big thing is, see, that's the other thing we haven't factored in with the 14 seats that are in doubt. Katie mentioned it in the news at about 5 o'clock that over 8 million people did the early voting, and they don't actually get counted tonight. They will get counted over the next few days. So all that kind of factors in. And those postal votes or early votes, they actually sometimes swing towards the Liberals.
They do. Traditionally, they do.
Yeah, and in this election especially, because the Libs shot the gun, in my opinion, they shot the gun early and gave away all these policies and had nothing to give away sort of at the end of the election, as the election was coming towards the end.
Yeah.
There was really no noise around what the Libs were doing, whereas Labor were late to fire the gun, but they had impact at the end.
Yeah, sort of, because
hence we're seeing the result that we're seeing today.
I mean, a lot of people, they don't give a crap about the campaign right up until like sort of the final days preceding the actual election. So no one's really paying attention up until that point. Like, there's no big rallies, there's no big things on TV. Like, yeah, there's the debates, but even a lot of people don't tune in to listen to that. They just they read the headline after the fact.
Well, they get the hot shots from TikTok.
Exactly. No one's really paying attention until sort of the last week before. So, I mean, effectively, I don't really understand why the campaigns are, weeks and weeks long, because no one cares.
By law, they have to be.
Yeah, I realize that there's a period of like, right now where this is part of our campaign and this is how long we have to campaign for and yada yada yada. But like, it's just no one people look at the signs on the side of the road and just keep driving by. Like, no one cares.
Did you notice this in Queensland as well, Nathan, that a lot of signs were defaced this election? Not necessarily, they seem to be more defaced this time than they were last year or the year before or the year before.
Yeah, I actually saw less signs. So I think that may have been evidence that they were being like stolen or knocked down or something. But yeah, I definitely saw less signs this year.
You know what else is an interesting fact as well? About this election specifically, now that we've entered a period now where there are more people under the age of 40 than there are over the age of 40 that are voting. And what comes with that is a lot of the younger people are either prepared to go independent because they're sick of the way that it used to be and this two-party preferred business, or they would rather cop the fine for not voting and simply stay out of it. Leaving the older generations
I'm fascinated
to
with is that
Pardon?
you actually have to vote.
Yeah. A lot of people
does that-
would prefer to be fined.
Does that get pushback? I was going to say, do people say, screw you, I'm not doing it?
Hey, absolutely.
Yeah. There's definitely a big movement of people, especially is sort of in sort of the really young generation, sort of the 30 and under, that would rather pay the fine than go and vote. Which leaves a lot of the older generation still to vote, which is where we get simply just the swing between Labor and Liberal, essentially, because there's still a lot of the older people that are calling the shots, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just that younger people, and that's why websites like Build a Ballot started to come on board to get engagement within younger people, because they simply don't care. They're like, our country is buggered. We don't care about what either of you have to say. I'm not taking part in this.
Do you have these? This is something actually I wanted to bring up with you, Yergs, because I saved them while we were at the voting centre today. Well, I was there because I don't vote in Australia. I still have my New Zealand citizenship. But do you have these over in the States? This is a how to vote card.
We get sent mock-ups of the ballot, and we'll be able to see. Can you guys hear me again?
Yeah. You're still quiet, though, but I can hear you fine.
I know. How about now? Is that a considerable difference?
There we go. Yeah, that's heaps better.
I'm learning my board.
No, I can hear the rest of you fine.
Okay. We get sent mock-ups of the ballot, and for what we will actually see. Now, that's from the government, so that doesn't say vote this way, that way, or that's a violation of federal law. However, the parties will send party-specific information. I don't think they're allowed to make it to look like a ballot. For not that they can't try to sway you, but there's a huge thing here on counterfeit, fraudulent, yada yada yada, that is within the past 3 presidential elections, starting with Trump. And we can talk all day about projection and what really is going on, but it's been an issue where it should not look like the official ballot. And they, for creative reasons, they usually don't. But your local government or state government will send essentially a mock-up of what the paper ballot will look like, if that area still has paper at all. But at least what it'll look like on election day, so that you're familiar with. And the reason for that is they want you to vote accurately. Like if Nathan's a candidate and he's my guy, if he's going to be on that same place in the mock-up that was sent to my house as he will be on the actual ballot when I get to the polling station. So there's no confusion, if that makes any sense.
We get the it looks like a ballot paper when you get the how to vote cards. Like that's all that on there. Each party has their own, like that little I don't know if you can see there on the camera, Yergs, that the little sort of green box, that's exactly what it looks like when you go and vote. So every party has their own one of these. So
that's the Labor one.
Yeah.
This is the Liberal one.
See, they all have that little green sort of number system. The actual ballot slip looks exactly the same.
So,
and it
do
just shows you sort of how to number them.
Can you vote across party lines in each seat? Like, can you vote for the Liberal Prime Minister and then vote for Conservative members for Parliament or state government?
In the Senate, I believe you can.
So
yeah.
when you vote, I grabbed a Greens one while I was there. So the Greens one shows it a bit better. So you've got on this side here is the lower house or the House of Representatives.
Sure.
And at the top has got how you vote in the Senate.
Okay.
So in the Senate,
upper house and lower house.
The Senate card is
this America is
The Senate is this big long piece of paper, and it's essentially got the party heads at the top that you can just vote for the party, or you can go below the line and there's about 150 names or something like that you can put specific names that you're voting for within that. So there's two different things that you have to do. There's the Senate one, which the piece of paper is about 1 meter long.
Okay.
And then there's just this little, it's huge. And then there's just the little green one, which is essentially which one that you want, which party you're voting for within your little electorate.
Wow. 1 meter long.
It's really big.
It's
huge.
So in Australia, for the lower house or the House of Representatives, it's called full preferential. I can't even say the word. Preferential voting, and you must number every box on the ballot paper in order of preference, 1, 2, 3, etc., with 1 being your first choice. So the first count, all the number 1 votes or first preference votes are counted. If a candidate has more than 50% of the first preference votes, they win. If no one has 50%, the candidate with the fewer votes is eliminated. Then there's a redistribution. So the eliminated candidates' votes are reallocated to the remaining candidates based on the voter's next preference. This process continues with the lowest ranked candidate eliminated and their votes redistributed until someone has over 50%. So even though you put number 1 on your ballot, your number 2 vote is always important.
So that's what we call ranked choice voting.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So or also known as runoff.
Okay.
Instant runoff, yeah. And then for the Senate, you vote 2 ways. You've got above the line or below the line. So the number, at least 6 parties or groups in order of preference. So same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you got below the line voting, where you number at least 12 individual candidates in order of preference. The Senate votes use a proportional representation system called single transferable vote, which means it's based on a quota system and it's calculated. Candidates must reach that quota. Candidates who reach that quota are elected. Any surplus votes are transferred to other candidates based on preferences. As with the House, candidates with the fewer votes are eliminated and then their votes are redistributed until all seats are filled.
See, this is the part that I don't understand about preferential voting, because it's not necessarily preferential voting, in my opinion. It's first past the post. Because as soon as, doesn't matter how many votes are counted, if someone has reached 76, that's it, job done.
Right. Yeah, actual preferential voting, there's a point system where like your number 1 vote gets 5 points and your number 5 vote gets 1 point. And then it goes on the point system, not an actual 1-for-1 vote. Because it's weighted.
It's what?
Weighted.
Oh, right. See, it's not that here. I don't think, it's not a point system, which, I mean, I feel like a point system would be way better.
I don't know that we actually are using, I know it's not part of the national system. And I don't know how much of the U.S. actually. Let me look that up quick. What did I just call that? Ranked choice.
Rank choice.
According to fairvote.org, this must be sexy because it's loading. Ranked choice voting is currently reaching nearly 14 million voters in 52 cities, counties, and states in the United States. Since 2004, there have been over 800 RCV elections in the U.S. with tens of millions of ranked ballots cast. In this section, we will explore blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Current snapshot. So lots in California. No surprise there.
Hmm.
Here we go. List of jurisdictions. South Carolina uses ranked choice voting for military and overseas voters. Georgia, same thing.
Overseas voters.
U.S. citizens that live abroad, like federal employees in the State Department, corporate jobs, things of that nature. Alabama, Louisiana, and Arkansas all use a type, as does Maine, Alaska. Alaska uses it for the entire federal or state general elections. And
there's different
Maine,
styles of voting depending on what state you're in.
yes. Wait till you learn about something called a caucus.
I've heard of this word. I don't know what it is.
It's where it's in a primary. And essentially what you do, it's outdated. It's useless, it's outdated, and not necessary. But, hey, let's do it anyway.
Because why not?
It's basically a way to cast a ballot before ballots were put on paper. It's everybody shows up at the community library or town hall or the church, and they say, okay, everybody for Katie, go into that corner over there. Everybody for Scott over in this corner. Yergs over in that corner. And Nathan over in corner number 4. And then they count. And again, unless you have a certain percentage, you're not finished. So they go, okay, Nathan's the odd man out. He doesn't have enough. He's out. You people go somewhere else. We'll be back with round 2
Makes
in an
sense.
hour. And now Scott, you and I scramble to go get Nathan's people and bring them over to our respective corners.
Yeah.
And this is where a lot of deals are made and a lot of, hey, come over to our corner and we'll make sure that you get selected as a delegate for this. That's how a lot of people get jobs in that new campaign. And it's basically outdated because we have ranked choice voting. We have paper ballots. We have so many other things that can be used to replace the caucus. And yeah, I'm not a fan, especially because the states that use caucuses do their primaries in January.
I mean, the basic concept sounds fine. Is there a better way to do it? What is the better way to do it?
Ranked choice voting.
Yeah, the better way is the one where there's no one cutting checks on the House of Representatives.
Oh, right. Fair.
Ranked choice voting would be, just the same thing essentially. First of all, it would be private. Nobody would know who you voted for. And then
which is what it
secondly-
is here. It's all anonymous.
Yeah. There's no anonymity in caucuses. And again, that was also from a time when, what side of the tracks you lived on pretty much decided how you voted. Not that that doesn't happen today, but with privacy, less so.
Yeah, right. Because it's like over there, it's optional to vote, correct?
Yes.
So you can simply just sit out.
I just learned that you had to vote in Australia with this election. I never knew that. That's kind of fascinating.
See, I think the opposite. I think it's kind of fascinating that, like, you guys
Sure.
have a choice.
Yeah.
For us, it's literally illegal. You'll be fined. I mean, granted,
So-
the fine is not that much. It's not a massive deterrent, which is why a lot of people just choose to accept the fine and pay the
It's
fine.
gone up, I believe.
I think it's about $70 or so, or 120.
Because there was 1 year where it was only $20,
Yeah,
and people just copped the $20 fine.
I think it's about 70 or $100 to not vote.
Right.
So everyone, like, from your 18th birthday, you are required by law to cast a vote. So it's kind of wild that in places like America where you can literally just like, nah, I'm good. Does that mean, wait, I have a strange question here. So does that mean that, like, people that are in prison, they just don't vote?
Depends on the state. Some states allow felons, like Florida, to vote.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, I find that equally as fascinating, equally as stupid, but but yeah, you can do it.
So they still get to vote if they want to.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
New Zealand just passed law to so prisoners can't vote, whereas beforehand they could vote.
What's it here? I thought I'm stumbling over my words because my brain is going too fast.
We'll find out.
I feel like I'm sure I read somewhere that prisoners here have to vote still.
Okay. So in federal elections, yes.
Yeah, I thought
there is
so.
But there is a restriction. Prisoners serving less than 3 years can vote. Prisoners serving 3 years or more are disqualified from voting while in prison. Once released, voting rights are restored, but they must re-enroll.
Yeah.
Because they are removed from the electoral roll. So oh wow, here we go. In every state, so New South Wales, if you're serving 1 year or more, can't vote. If you're in Victoria, 5 years or more, can't vote. Queensland, 1 year or more, can't vote. Western Australia, can't vote if you're serving 1 or more year. In South Australia, same thing. In Tasmania, 3 years or more.
So up until that point, they still have to vote.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
In the ACT, all prisoners can vote regardless of their sentence. And the Northern Territory is 1 year as well. So if they're serving more than 1 year. It says important things. Prisoners who are eligible to vote, they have to be, so you have to be enrolled to vote.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same everywhere, yeah.
So voting is compulsory, and votes are typically cast via postal vote. So they don't get to go out to the polling booths or pre-polling or anything like that. It's done via postal voting.
I would imagine that it's done like in pre-polls.
Yeah, that's right. Some more great news for the Labor government. So the Labor Party, sorry. WA has just sent through more votes. So I believe over East, the voting has stopped. And
counting has stopped.
Counting stopped, sorry, not voting stopped. So the seat of Moore in WA is an ALP win. Canning is by the Libs, so they've gained a seat in Western Australia. Fremantle, where your mate Tate is running. Tate,
Did my boy Tate get in?
no,
He
did not. It does look like, yeah.
What about in Burt?
The swing, that our local area.
Yeah.
You want me to look up?
Yeah.
I'll keep talking and I'll look it up for you.
I love all the names of the places, like all the different electorates. They're so funny, aren't they? Burt, Bullwinkle. Like, who comes up with these names?
They're named after famous people. So in Victoria, Bob Hawke, there's a seat of Hawke.
Yeah, the seat of Hawke.
Yeah.
Whose name was Bullwinkle?
No, now the seat of Bullwinkle has got an interesting, because it wasn't going to be called Bullwinkle. Why is, I can't remember.
Do you know why?
We'll have to look it up.
I am familiar with the town or city. I don't know how big it is in real life. Alice Springs.
Oh, yes.
Alice Springs, yes.
What has made the town of Alice Springs famous?
Go on.
If you've not seen it, watch the movie Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Yes, of course.
Funny.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Do you know are you familiar with the movie that I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched the whole thing. I've watched parts of it. I am familiar with what it's about.
Oh, great movie. And the three guys are like in like real life, you know, their careers as actors are pretty tough ass dudes. The oldest of the three is an actor named Terrence Stamp. If you've seen either the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, a younger version of him was General Zod. And then he was also Master Tunstall in the Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez movies, Young Guns. He was this old British cowboy.
Terrence Stamp was also the movie Yes Man?
I don't know.
Yes Man with Jim Carrey in it. Where he has to say yes all the time.
Yes.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
Puts the spell.
Oh,
on, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And then the other supporting male character is Guy Pearce. If you've seen, I think it's LA Confidential. He was the detective in LA Confidential. He was an FBI agent in the movie with Don Cheadle. I can't forget the not the conspirator. I'll have to look that up. But he played an FBI agent, another tough guy role. And he was also in the movie The Count of Monte Cristo with Jim Caviezel and Henry Cavill.
I love me Henry Cavill.
That was Henry Cavill's movie. Yeah, you think you like Henry Cavill now? Wait till you see him as like an 18-year-old young buck. Well, he played the son in that movie.
Yeah, see, there would have been a time where I'm like, I want to look at the young guns and the actors that when they're in their prime and they look all pretty. And now that I'm a touch older, I look at like the Clooneys of the world and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Okay. And then the lead is an actor named Hugo Weaving.
One of my favorites.
He was in Lord of the Rings.
The Matrix.
And then he was Agent Smith in The Matrix.
Yes.
And then
He
you
was in
saw
Babe.
him. Nope. Rather, well, I think he actually did do both. He was kind of like a Darth Vader character in that you saw him, you heard him, but you didn't see him actually speak because he wore a mask in the whole movie.
Yes.
And that was V
Yes,
for
in
Vendetta.
V for Vendetta.
Yes, he was codenamed V in the movie V for Vendetta.
Incredible performance in that movie, by the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if he did his parts in like an off-camera voiceover, but just to be able to act with his body, the physical acting necessary to match the script was pretty incredible. We're like,
and to get that expression across without having your face.
Right. David Prowse, however, the guy who was in the suit of Darth Vader, was told that his spoken lines were going to be in the movie. He was flat out lied to. And then when he went and saw the movie and heard some other asshole named James Earl Jones doing his voiceover, he was pissed. And that was the beginning of the many feuds between him and George Lucas.
I'd read somewhere, I can't remember which way around it was, but the actor who played like episode 3 Anakin Skywalker before, like while he was still Anakin.
Yes, Hayden Christensen.
Yep.
Thank you, Hayden Christensen. I can't remember if it was him or his body double, but they were about 6 inches different in height, and one of them had to have like platform shoes. And I found that rather interesting.
Yes, I think his stunt double was taller
short.
than him.
Yeah, it was taller than him. Like he wasn't tall enough to make it look realistic.
Interesting.
Yeah. I can't remember where I read that, but I remember reading that somewhere. It was either him or his body double that was too short to match up and had to wear like platform shoes.
He's in another movie that I liked, and I liked the guy that's in with him. I can't remember his. Jamie Bell. They were in the movie Jumpers.
Ooh, that's a
yeah,
good
I liked that movie.
Jumpers was a fantastic movie.
And I really like Jamie Bell. He was in, he was the lead in a series, a 2-season series done on AMC, a network here called American Movie Classics. And it was a historical period piece from the American Revolution called Turn, Washington Spies. It was a docudrama about the Culpeper spy ring, the team of spies of locals in Pawtucket, Long Island, that helped George Washington throughout the Revolution. And Jamie Bell's character played the lead in that ring. And really, there was some amazing, acting and storytelling and historical accuracy, everything really well done.
You know who's a really good actor, but is allegedly one of Hollywood's biggest divas? Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
I heard he's an asshole.
Yeah.
I heard he is an outright asshole.
With the amount of movies that he's been in and, the fame that he's exceeded because of, the Batman movies along with obviously many others, but he's apparently, the biggest diva when it comes to anything. Like, he's just a real shit dude.
Yeah, I've heard that. Another one, James T. Kirk.
Yes, William Shatner.
No, Chris Pine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I heard he's a dick too. In fact, I know somebody that had an interaction with him. It was, and when somebody else heard that
Dickish.
story, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's how he rolls."
The funny one is that there's some people that you get that are like really, really known as absolute dicks. I think another one is Tom Cruise.
He's just
Really?
a weirdo.
Yes.
Like if you think it's a good idea to be on the set of Oprah Winfrey and dance on her couch while she's sitting right there,
I'm in love with Katie Holmes. Yeah.
The elevator doesn't.
But
go
like,
to the top
he's
floor.
just the guy. Like, yes, he has done some fantastic movies. There's no doubt that he has talent. But like, the dude is like a 3.5 foot nothing, like strange dude, Scientologist. Like, he's just got a whole lot going on for a guy like that.
Yep.
And I was going to say,
very and do you know what? I can't stand if you ever look at his face straight on, it's incredibly asymmetrical. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. I was ruined with this. I was like, yeah, like, he's a good looking rooster. But then someone told me this, and I looked at his face, like I just like looked at a picture and typed just into Google, like, Tom Cruise asymmetrical face, and had someone else just sort of put a line through it, and I was like, oh, I cannot unsee this. I cannot. And so now every time I look at him, every movie that he's in, one, I realize that he's the size of a small child, and that's kind of hilarious to me. And two is that his face is so crooked that I just cannot unsee it.
I've never noticed that about him.
Yeah, go and have a look.
There you go.
His teeth are all off center and everything. Like, it's just
his nose goes to one side.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah, enjoy that next time you're watching a Tom Cruise movie.
I was actually going to bring it up because one, Tom Cruise gets a lot of bad press for being like an asshole.
Yeah.
And also for being a Scientologist. But, one Scientologist who's a famous actor who I hear nothing but good things about is John Travolta.
Yep. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's. I've heard that too. That he's gay, closeted, just wants to be left alone.
I've heard that too.
His biggest thing, he's got an airport in his backyard. It's his airport.
Yes.
And
it's so extra, isn't it?
He flies these Lear jets to travel the country, and his hangar is right out of. You have a swimming pool or a deck. He's got a skyway to his plane.
Hasn't he got a Qantas plane?
That's a good question. I don't know. There was one that was, I'll say, bigger, and then one that's more like a Lear jet, which, because they're a little bit more maneuverable, is what he kind of prefers, I'm told.
There's John Travolta's airport.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go. That's here in Florida.
Wouldn't you
too,
love
I
to
think.
be that rich?
Where is that, Nathan? Does it say?
I think it did say yes. It is.
I want to say that's here in Florida.
Yeah, it's in Ocala.
Yeah, that's an hour north of me.
There you go. You could go on a weekend trip.
Yeah. And he's on my team.
It's the largest private runway in the United States.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
and yes, John Travolta does own a Qantas Boeing 707.
Yeah, and he can bring
There you go.
he can bring a nice ride onto that thing.
It's called Jumbo Lair Airport.
Oh, I feel like he's ballsed up there a little bit, hasn't he? I feel like he definitely could have called it like Travolta Air or something.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Travolta Airport.
It's I don't know that he is. How would you like he's got that about him? You know, like it's got it all about him. It's not.
Mm. Yeah, it's like for him, he's obsessed with planes, and he wanted an airport in his backyard.
Yeah.
He reminds me of like Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang.
Yeah, like
John
if he
Travolta
had.
does?
It's like, yeah, if John Travolta had his own private train track, it'd make a lot more sense.
That's what I mean. I feel like he's the real life plane loving instead of train loving version of Sheldon Cooper.
Right. Hey, just real quickly, back on the election, I've just had some news come across my desk here. Remember earlier tonight we were talking about Josh Frydenberg?
Yeah.
Fryo. What did you? Frido. Okay.
Like Freddo, but not the chocolate.
Okay. So this is quoted directly from the ABC here in Australia. I'm opening a book on who's the first coalition figure to ring Josh Frydenberg and try and engineer some sort of emergency by-election to get him back into Parliament.
We reckon Frido's coming back.
Well, as the ABC have also reported, that might be difficult because there aren't many Liberal-held seats left in Melbourne. Nothing to laugh about. That he would be able to be parachuted in. If he was to come back as the Liberal leader, he would literally have to move to Queensland.
There you go.
Where all the Liberal seats are. So
From where?
From where?
Yeah.
From where?
Move to
He's
Queensland from where?
based in Melbourne.
Okay.
So he had the seat of Kooyong, which is in just out the skirts of Melbourne. So he would then have to literally move from Victoria to Queensland to find a Liberal safe seat, essentially. Because there aren't any Liberal seats. There's not many Liberal seats in Melbourne, and they're really quite thin in New South Wales. South Australia is not looking too good. Western Australia is Labor strong. So he would have to relocate to Queensland if he had any chance of being the Liberal
I don't think
leader.
that would be a smart move, though, given, like, I never minded Alfredo. I think he was all right. But I think people would be too scared, literally just going back to this whole ScoMo thing.
Well, I want to put it to you like this. If Peter Dutton wasn't the opposition leader and Josh Frydenberg was the opposition leader, would you vote for him?
I mean, honestly, I voted for him anyway. But I think that's where a lot of people...
Looking like a true Liberal supporter.
But there was a lot of hate for Dutton as a person. I think a lot of people remembered what he did a couple of years ago and when the whole asshole lips thing went around and all that sort of thing. And people just kind of had a bit of hate for Dutto.
So, Jurgs, what do you know about Peter Dutton?
That he was sort of, I know he was like the closest thing to MAGA, but he was not the full-on MAGA candidate in Australia. Is that right?
Correct. Sort of. Yeah. He didn't want to be aligned with Donald Trump, but he had a better relationship with Donald Trump than what Albo does. And he was seen as sort of going with the grain on a lot of the MAGA ways of persuasion, I suppose.
Well, he did say that if he was elected, that he would create a department like Elon Musk is heading up in the States to improve government efficiencies. But I think the other
issue that's a lovely idea.
Yeah, especially
well, look how that's worked out.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think Peter Dutton had a real image problem from the get-go, because a lot of people remember Peter Dutton when he was the Minister of Home Affairs, which is the equivalent to so the Minister of Home Affairs was immigration and things like that, and he had a very, very hard line, and he drew the line in the sand. It was very black and white, whereas in traditional Labor governments, they kind of just go, "Oh, look, Australia's open. Come over on your floating doors." Whereas Peter Dutton put a line in the sand and said, "Enough is enough," and was quite tough and hard on who came into Australia and who didn't.
And then that erupted the whole Christmas Island fiasco from memory?
No, that was Labor.
Oh, okay.
So what what the Liberals were doing was sending people offshore to be processed. And then being able to come into Australia. But he had this very hard persona, I guess. And honestly, the first time I saw Peter Dutton smile was in the election campaign.
He does look a bit like Voldemort. I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
Someone got sued for calling him Voldemort.
But I mean, look at him though.
Why?
Yeah. Why does someone get sued?
Yeah.
Or why is he Voldemort?
No. Why sue?
I think he was.
At
don't
least
really
you
know.
can be. I'd rather be remembered as a classical potential villain like Voldemort than a failed candidate for prime minister.
There you go.
That also simultaneously lost
that's
seat
right.
in Parliament.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. It
That's
was
right.
So Tanya Plibersek. She was the Labor deputy leader under Bill Shorten in 2022. Tanya Plibersek. She's also the minister for the environment.
We don't care about Tanya Plibersek. Move on with your story. I want to know what happened with the suing.
Yeah. Stick to the good part.
Sorry, they didn't sue him. Let me open up the whole story here. Hang on.
Let's get some facts going on.
Let me get some facts here. Oh no.
I mean, you can see the resemblance.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
There's a family resemblance there.
Oh wow. So this was when he became the Liberal leader. She said on a 4BC radio interview, I think there will be a lot of children who have watched a lot of Harry Potter films who will be very frightened of what they're seeing on TV at night. When asked what she meant, Plibersek said, "I'm saying he looks a bit like Voldemort.
Oh.
We will see whether he can do what he promised he could do when he was running for leader last time, which is smile more."
This human.
Definitely not a fan of her.
But you got to admit, though, she's not wrong.
No.
He is right on the money.
Yeah, that's why when you said that she was sued over it, I asked why. It's not slander.
The accuracy. It can't be slander if it's the truth.
Right.
There's even more. Like there was another one. It was only a couple of months ago. Someone walked up to Peter Dutton on a plane and accused him of being Voldemort.
When you say accused him, like hey, weren't you that guy in the movie? Or
it's like it's the
why are you such like a real Voldemort? You know, how
no,
did that
it's
go
like
exactly.
it's more like saying, "Hey, Peter Dutton, you look like Voldemort," and saying, "Hey, look, it's Voldemort."
Right.
Look,
So
it's Voldemort.
It was just the reference to the movie, not a comparison to his politics.
Yes.
Slightly dying over here. But yeah, look, whoever becomes the Liberal leader next,
they're gonna have to have a set of balls on them, honestly, because they got a steep hill to climb.
And it's going to have to be, it's going to have to be someone with a set of balls.
This one, I still think it's going to be easier than, and I'm brain farting on his name, even though I just saw him again yesterday. He's got an easier climb than the guy in Canada. Because by what you've shown me and the seats that were won today, he's got much more of a majority and therefore an easier task of assembling a government than what Canada does, who did not have a majority. They had the most.
No, they were in minority,
but not a majority position. So he's got to use other parties.
Because Canada's voting system is similar to Australia's. Hey, is that right?
Part of the UK.
Or am I completely wrong?
And yeah, it's the prime minister comes, I guess, from within Parliament and from within the party. Because, like I said, the conservative guy, the pro-Trump guy, I'm brain farting on his name as well, of course. Real professional political commentator that I am.
Pollier?
Yeah.
Pierre.
Yeah. It's like Wayne LaPierre, formerly from the National Rifle Association here in the United States. That's what I associated it with. But like Dutton in Australia, the conservative guy in Canada not only lost his opportunity for prime minister, but also lost his seat for parliament.
Lost his job in the process.
Yeah. But unlike
I can't
Australia,
believe it's happened twice.
The Labour Party did not get the majority that Australia took away.
And that's Albo secured himself a pretty big majority in this election.
Well, the news just then, he will go from 77 seats to potentially 90 seats.
Holy!
Which, out of 150 seats, that's a huge majority.
Yeah, I was going to say...
That's almost unheard of.
Isn't Australia losing a seat after this election too? Like some sort of census evaluation?
So, yes, to do with population and movement. So they took one seat from New South Wales, I believe, and one seat from Victoria, abolished the two seats, and then created the new one, Bullwinkle, in Western Australia, which actually is named, because Katie was asking that before, the division of Bullwinkle in Western Australia is named in honour of Lieutenant Colonel Vivian Bullwinkle, a distinguished Australian Army nurse and the sole surviving nurse of the 1942 Banker Island massacre during World War II.
There you go. Did you ever find out where Bert is? Where's it at? What's happening?
No, I didn't. Sorry, Bert. Bert is our area, our electorate. I wonder how they went in Capricornia. That's your side of the world there, Nathan.
Yeah, how'd they go?
You know what? I actually I liked saying the word Capricornia.
No, Labour retained.
Of course.
Bert.
Of course they did. But we're gone from voting in the Capricornia electorate to the electorate of Bert.
But
But like something so fancy, like Capricornia, to Bert.
Michelle Landry won her seat. She kept it.
there you go.
Capricornia. Not much of a swing either, 1.2%. So that's that's pretty good there. There's still 14, so they've only counted 61.2% of the vote. There's still 14 seats in doubt, and those seats.
I mean, it's almost 10 o'clock here in WA, so they're going to stop shortly anyway.
Trying to find those seats in doubt still. So Bullwinkle in WA, Goldstein in Victoria, where the independent candidate is ahead there. Fowler in New South Wales, Daly still in front there. Ryan in Queensland, where the Greens have got an absolute thumping, actually 57%. So they'll be waiting for preferences. Brisbane, the seat of Brisbane, where the Greens hold, the ALP are actually ahead. The Greens are no longer in that two-party preferred anymore. It's gone back to ALP, LNP. Griffith is going to be a Green. ALP are ahead there. Franklin in Tasmania is still in doubt. Richmond is a swap, so that was Labor, now Greens. Bradford in New South Wales was a Liberal seat. Independents ahead there. Melbourne, the Green seat turning back to ALP. Bean in Australian Capital Territory, where the Independent is ahead there as well. Longman in Queensland, ALP are ahead, and Wills in Victoria, where the ALP are ahead as well. But there's quite a swing towards the Green. So the Green, it's interesting to see that Green vote. It's all over the place.
Mm.
Yeah, we like to think that our political system like avoids getting into the two-party red versus blue, but it does.
It does.
Well, there are some seats here, like I was saying before. Some of the two-party he preferred here is like LNP and Green, or ALP and Independent. It's not necessarily where it's team red, team blue.
So I'll call them lesser parties, act kind of like as spoilers or influencers? Like, can they cost?
Some of them are spoilers, some of them are influencers.
Yeah, like for example, if I'm in a Green Party, which is liberal, could I cost Albanese an election, or could I ultimately help him down the line? Or
the
both?
Greens would help Albo win.
I think that's more what the runoff voting is designed to prevent, is that your vote sort of acting as a spoiler, because if your primary choice doesn't win, it goes to your second choice.
So in the end, it's probably, if I'm going to vote for Nathan, the Green Party candidate, but he doesn't, score enough that he's not going to make it to round two. And my second point or second choice was Scott, another left-leaning candidate. Ultimately, Albanese is going to win.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to pick somebody from the far right or right-leaning as another option.
Because you're getting a lot of people who are like, you take someone who's really, really far left, who might vote, like vote 1 Socialist Alliance, vote 2 Greens, vote 3 Labour Party. Like the Socialist Alliance has no chance of winning. Greens have no chance of winning. So essentially, you've issued a vote for the Labour Party.
Right.
Because traditionally, it's always the Labour Party and the Green Party work together. One Nation and the Liberal National Party, they worked together. But this is where the Clive Palmer effect came in, right? So they only got 2% of the vote this time around. But in previous elections, when Bill Shorten was running, that was back in 2019, I believe. I think it was Bill Shorten, 2019. The Clive Palmer effect actually helped the Liberals get up over the line because their preferences went straight to the Liberal National Party.
Okay.
Whereas this time around, the Trumpet of Patriots weren't necessarily preferencing the Libs or the Labor Party. They were actually preferencing the independents. So they were helping the independents stay in power.
So they would be acting as more of a spoiler because their second, third choices aren't running off to a major party.
And that's, that was part of the reason why I grabbed these how to vote cards, because Anthony Albanese got on the news and said if we were in minority government that they wouldn't go into coalition with the Greens. But you can clearly see on that Greens how to vote card, right at the bottom there, preference number 2 is the Labor Party, right? And then if you pull up their one, the Labor Party, their second preference is the Greens. But Albo swore black and blue that wasn't going to happen.
Why not?
Because of the green effect. The green is, how did you say it the other night, Nathan? The green is...
I don't know. What do you mean?
What you said, the Green Party's like to left, like they're very, very... We're having a conversation about the Green Party.
I don't remember exactly what we were talking about.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to remember what it was too, but the Greens have the views that they have is very, very left.
Farther left than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're the only quote unquote major party that's actually left of center.
Mm. And see where the Liberals, they always preference in Queensland, they're the same team, right? They're part of the LNP party. But whereas in WA, where they're very separate, their second preference is always the National Party, and then third is, One Nation and so on and so forth. Or the Libertarians. Actually, I'm quite surprised that the Libertarians didn't get up this. There was a lot of noise about them. And they didn't get anything this time around. Just having a quick look at some Senate seats here. Yeah, no, nothing. Interesting. All the Senate results are coming through now. So the Labor have got 27 seats in the Senate. Liberal Nationals 26, the Greens 11, One Nation 1. We spoke about David Pocock before. He's got 1 seat. There's an independent in Tasmania. She's got a seat. Interesting. The Clive Palmer's old party, the United Australia Party, before it was rebranded to Trumpet of Patriots.
Yeah.
They've got a senator in the Senate.
One whole senator.
Yeah, for the United Australia Party. Don't know too much about that. And it's only a half Senate election too. So 40 of the 76 Senate seats will be filled at this election. There are 36 senators continuing in office. So there we go. It looks like, yeah, they're still counting here, which is interesting.
Will they do that to 11 or throughout the night?
That's a good question. Let's have a look. Let's see when they. I'm going to look that up really quickly. Some news that's come in as well. Something about the libs here. Let me have a quick look at what this is here. Oh, okay. So Peter Dutton's obviously lost his seat. That's confirmed. Michael Sukkar, I think that's how you say it, the Shadow Minister for Social Services, he's lost his seat as well, and the Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister for the Liberal Party, David Coleman, has lost his seat as well. So there's three big names gone from there as well. Three big names gone from the leadership contenders. It will be interesting to see who they put forward for leader of the Liberal Party in the next few days.
This just in. My comment from September 20th of 2024 was just removed when I told Matt Bryant, your fat ass looks like you're about to shoot a bowling ball. Apparently, Facebook doesn't like that.
Actually, I saw
it took them a while.
Yeah.
I've had stuff removed automatically from YouTube in the past month. And before I was literally not finished typing and did not click enter on the appeal when I received that my appeal process was denied. And I'm like, well, okay. Because these people aren't kissing up to Donald Trump at all.
No, not at all.
And 2 days ago, I had a video removed off of TikTok because of violating branding policies. And I've looked at the video. It's no different than any of the other videos. And actually, last night, another one was removed also for that same type of violation, whatever that is. Yeah. I've there's nothing misleading. I have rights to everything. Like when I say that I'm on Radio X in Australia, I'm saying that, and you're not going to bitch about me promoting your station.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've appealed both. I'm waiting to hear back on the TikTok ones. But my beef with TikTok is they let lower populated creators like me stream live to the platform when they needed us back in December, and we're about to be eliminated from the United States for the first time. And then because they needed a coalition to influence Donald Trump to let them continue. Well, now they've got his attention. They're in the process of making a deal. They've gone back to their prior standards, and I'm not needed anymore. So I can't stream to TikTok. And as a result, the outreach to a younger audience has diminished. So none of this happened during Biden, by the way. Nothing happened with me getting kicked off LinkedIn like I was last fall after the election. Nothing happened with videos being suddenly taken down for ridiculous community standards violations that aren't consistent with other platforms. It's all because they're afraid of this guy. And that's why you're hosting radio, Right Talk Radio. And pretty soon I'll probably be moving Rainbow Radio over to that as well, depending on space, strength of the server, and whatever.
Yep.
But I want something hosted outside the United States. So when everything else goes to shit, they're not going to stop me.
They can't stop what they can't control.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's right. Hey, just a very quick side note. Do you know Singapore has an election on today?
I did not.
I didn't know that they were only the size of a city. Like they are surrounded by
Singapore's
Malaysia.
not actually that big.
Yeah, it's only a city. And it's literally one of the cleanest cities in the world. They have a 100% recycle. Yeah, they dispose of all their trash immediately in the trash to steam. Then they even clean the steam and recyclable materials that they don't even that they don't also put into like bottles become bottles again. They grind it up.
I just
and they
had
make this, good.
I had friends of mine that have just gone over there. They went on there of a family holiday sort of thing, and thought that it was just absolutely amazing. Like they just couldn't believe the cultural difference and just how different it is from here, given it's not that far away.
You need a prescription to chew gum there.
Really?
Yeah, so you can.
I bet it prevents gum underneath the seat in a diner or a movie theater.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the point.
So that it's not
And
grotty.
I believe smoking in public is also against the law there too.
I mean, it's against the law a lot of places here, but people still do it.
No, I mean like just walking down the street.
Yeah, right.
So it says here about 82% of eligible voters, or 2.1 million Singaporeans, casted their vote today. And they've only ever had, it's the only third prime minister in Singapore's 60-year history. There you go. Isn't Singapore on the same time zone as WA?
Yes.
Huh.
It is on the same time zone as WA.
Interesting facts there today. And there you go.
Well, I think
Australia votes and Singapore votes.
I think that pretty much wraps up our night.
Yeah, I sure do. Scotty.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Sorry, I was just reading.
Wake up, Scott.
Wake up. I know it's late.
Sorry.
I'm actually kind of prepping.
We need to at least say goodbye to our friends.
Yes.
And I'm
just
still
reading
kinda
a story,
prepping
Adam.
for the meeting next.
Say that again, sorry. What'd you say?
Still doing some prepping for the meeting next after this.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I was just reading a story here from the Greens leader, Adam Bant, has conceded the party may lose all its seats in Queensland. So looks like it would be definitely a Greens wipeout.
Interesting.
All right. Zach Chandler Mather, by the way, was the guy that we're talking about. It was in Griffith. All right. We might jump off the air.
Yeah, I think that winds up our evening. We've got our result. We've had great discussions. Thank you.
Sorry, I cut you off. I pushed the wrong button.
Rude. Absolutely rude.
And that's how the Australian federal election wound up. So just before we sign off really quickly, Anthony Albanese, sorry.
And that's how the duddo crumbles.
Well said. So, with 63.3% of the votes counted, the ALP have 85 seats, the LNP 41 seats, and the others has dropped to 9. So, they've gone back down there. So, congratulations to the Australian Labor Party, Anthony Albanese, on the election win. Let's see what they can do in the next 3 years. Thank you, Jurgs.
Oh, thank you
for being on the air with us.
Yep.
And thank you to everyone that was listening across the globe on Jurgs Radio. You might have to name some of them for me, Jurgs. On Radio Live in Australia, Jurgs Radio, Rainbow Radio, right? Talk Radio.
Yep, that's it. And then some other platforms where you were on Biz Growth Collective, DNR Studios, and UG.media, which they eventually did figure out that we were there, so they cut us off a little while ago, but I can still play dumb.
Awesome. So tune in next week to the Radio Live show as well, radiolive.au. We'll be back next week. Thank you all, and good night.
Good night.